the Doran Empire had mastered the art of collection. For decades, their hidden ships came to Earth at night to gather living things from every part of the planet. They took insects, reptiles, mammals, and birds back to their huge space station that circled their home planet. Commander Tay stood on the bridge of the collection ship for the last mission. His scaled fingers tapped on the control panel as he waited. "Tell me how things are going," he ordered. Officer Sook gave a small bow. "Everything is on time. We have the animals from the African plains. Now we're going to the Amazon rainforest for the last collection." Tay smiled. Earth had more different kinds of life than any other planet they knew. The Doran scientists loved studying how predators and prey evolved together on Earth. This knowledge would help their science advance by hundreds of years. "What about the humans?" Tay asked. "We're staying away from them as ordered," Sook said. "Our studies show they are ordinary creatures that eat both plants and meat. They aren't very interesting to our biology team." Tay made a sound of dismissal. "I agree. Focus on the top predators, they're what make this world special." What they didn't know was that their careful plans had missed something important about Earth's natural balance. The collection ship hovered silently over the Amazon rainforest. Green lights scanned the dense trees below, identifying and marking various species for transport. "Sir, we've located a jaguar family," reported Officer Nam, who managed the collection beams. 3 adults and 2 cubs. "Excellent," Tay said. "Add them to priority list." Deep in the forest, a small team of poachers was also tracking the jaguars. June, their leader, adjusted his night vision goggles and signaled to his team to move forward quietly. "Those cats will bring a fortune on the black market," he whispered to Hannah, his second in command. Hannah nodded, keeping her rifle ready. Unlike June, who cared only about money, she had once been military intelligence. Her skills made her the perfect hunter. Above them, the Doran ship's sensors detected the jaguar family moving through the undergrowth. Officer Nam locked the collection beam onto the heat signatures. "Extracting now," he announced, activating the silent beam that would teleport the animals to the ship's holding cells. The blue light flashed through the trees, surrounding the jaguar family. But in that moment, something unexpected happened. The beam widened, catching June, Hannah, and the 3 other poachers in its range. On the ship, alarms flashed on Nam's console. "Commander!" The beam caught additional biomass. Tay rushed over. "What kind?" "Uncertain. The readings match some of the larger primates." "Monkeys won't be a problem. Process them with the rest," Tay ordered with a wave of his hand. "We're behind schedule." In the holding cell, June regained consciousness first. His head pounded as he sat up, confused by the strange metallic walls around him. The jaguars they had been hunting were there too, pacing nervously in the corner of the large enclosure. "Hannah," he whispered, shaking his companion awake. "Something's wrong." Hannah's eyes snapped open. Unlike the others, she immediately understood they were in serious trouble. The walls weren't made of any material she recognized. The air smelled different. And through a small window, she could see stars moving in a way that told her they were no longer on Earth. "We've been taken," she said quietly. The other poachers woke up panicking, but Hannah silenced them with a sharp gesture. "Listen," she commanded. "We need to understand where we are before we do anything." Outside their cell, 2 Doran scientists walked by, checking their specimens. One paused to look at the holding area with the jaguars and humans. "Interesting," said scientist Kyo. "The felines seem agitated." "They'll calm down once we transfer them to the habitat zone," replied his colleague G. Neither of them paid any special attention to the humans, assuming they were just another type of primate for study. Hannah watched the reptilian aliens with narrowed eyes. "They don't see us as anything special," she whispered to June. "That's going to be their biggest mistake." As the ship continued toward the Doran research station, the aliens remained unaware that they had just captured Earth's true apex predators. In the cell, Hannah was already examining their surroundings, looking for weaknesses in the alien technology. "These creatures think they're the hunters, she told her team as she found a panel that might control the door. Soon they'll learn what it means to be the prey. June's head hurt badly when he opened his eyes. Something felt very wrong. Last night, he had been hunting a tiger in India with his team. Now he was in what looked like the same forest, but when he looked up through the trees, the stars were in strange patterns he had never seen before. "Hannah," he whispered, shaking his friend awake. "Wake up. Something has happened." Hannah sat up quickly. She had once worked in military intelligence before becoming a poacher. She looked around carefully, noticing small details. "This isn't India," she said in a low voice. "The plants are right, the smells are right, but look at the sky." They found the rest of their team nearby. Day, Gil, and Sun were all confused and afraid. The 5 of them stayed together as they explored what seemed to be a perfect copy of an Indian forest. On the second day, Gil discovered the edge of their world. "Everyone, come look at this." They gathered where he pointed. At first, it seemed like just more forest, but when Hannah threw a stick, it hit something invisible and bounced back. "It's a wall we can't see," she explained. "And look beyond it." They could see through the clear wall into another habitat. This one looked like African grassland with lions and zebras. "We're in some kind of zoo," Day whispered. As days passed, they learned more. Their enclosure was one of hundreds, each holding different animals from Earth. And they weren't alone. Tigers, monkeys, and birds from India shared their space. On the 4th day, they saw the zookeepers for the first time. "Don't move," Hannah ordered when strange figures entered their habitat. "Stay hidden and watch." The creatures walked on 2 legs like humans but had scaled skin like reptiles. They were taller than humans and had long fingers with sharp claws. They carried devices that scanned the plants and animals. "They're aliens," Sun whispered, trembling. "Actual aliens. We'll call them collectors," Hannah decided. "That's what they do, they collect." The team watched as the collectors studied the tigers with great interest, taking samples and making notes on their devices. But when they passed near where the humans hid, they barely looked at them. "They walked right past us like we were nothing," Gil said after the aliens left. "They don't think we're important," Hannah realized. "They're interested in the tigers and other predators. Not us." June thought about this. "If they don't know humans are intelligent, that gives us an advantage." For the next week, they tested this theory. When collectors came, the humans would stay visible but act like simple animals, gathering fruit or sitting together. The aliens barely noticed them, sometimes scanning them briefly before moving on to study the tigers. One night, as they sat around a small fire they had made, June asked the important question. "How do we get home?" "First, we need to understand this place," Hannah said. "I've been watching and listening. The collectors speak a strange language, but I'm starting to recognize some patterns." She had always been good with languages. "They call themselves the Doran, not collectors. And this place isn't just a zoo, it's a research station." "I found something else," Day added. "There's a small gap in the invisible wall where it meets the ground. I think we could dig under it." Hannah nodded. "Good. But we need to know what's outside before we escape this habitat." The next day, they saw something that changed everything. A smaller Doran was studying a monkey when it accidentally dropped its device. The alien looked around, then quickly picked it up and left. "Did you see that?" June whispered. It was worried about getting in trouble. "They have rules. And rules can be used against them," Hannah smiled. That night, they made a plan. Day and Gil would dig under the wall while June, Hannah, and Sun learned more about the facility. Each day, they would act like simple animals when watched, but gather information when no one was looking. 2 weeks after their capture, Hannah made an important discovery. "The tigers," she said excitedly. "Watch how the collectors control them." The team observed as a Doran used a small device that made the tigers calm or move where the alien wanted. But when the alien tried the same device on a monkey, it worked differently. "The device affects different animals in different ways," Hannah explained. And I notice something when they use it near us. I feel a slight pressure in my head, but I can resist it. June smiled slowly. So their technology doesn't work well on humans. They don't understand us. Exactly, Hannah said. They think tigers and bears are the dangerous ones from Earth. They have no idea, Sun added quietly, that humans are Earth's real apex predators. June looked at his team with new hope. Then we'll show them. And find a way home. As night fell over the artificial habitat, the 5 humans gathered to plan their next move, while their alien captors remained unaware that the most dangerous species from Earth was already plotting right under their noses. Researcher Du rubbed his tired eyes and looked again at the screen. The data made no sense. Animals in several Earth habitats were behaving strangely. Tigers were appearing in bird enclosures. Wolves were found in desert habitats. Food supplies were going missing. Director Munn needs to see this, he muttered, marking the strangest events with red flags. An hour later, Director Munn stood beside him, frowning at the same screen. How long has this been happening? Munn asked. 3 weeks, Du replied. At first, I thought it was just the animals adjusting to their new environments. But look at this. He played a video showing wolves hunting in a pack, which was normal. But then he showed another video of the same wolves using rocks to break open a supply container. Wolves don't use tools, Munn said, his scales darkening with concern. Exactly, Du agreed. And here's another strange thing. The next video showed a tiger walking right past a small deer without attacking it. In nature, the tiger would have definitely tried to eat the deer. Something is changing how these animals behave, Du explained. It's like something is teaching them. As they watched more videos, a shadow moved across one screen. Du froze the image and zoomed in. What is that? Munn asked, leaning closer. Du enhanced the picture until they could see clearly. It was a bipedal figure moving between trees. That's a human. Du gasped. They must have been accidentally collected with the other specimens. How many? Munn demanded. Unknown. But they're not in their habitat. They're moving freely through the facility. Director Munn immediately called security. We have loose human specimens in the research station. Find them and return them to containment. But catching the humans proved much harder than expected. The security team searched for days without success. Every time they got close, the humans seemed to vanish. How can they be so difficult to find? Munn demanded after a week of failed searches. They're just primitive bipeds. Sir, Officer Pack reported, they seem to understand our security patterns. They move between shifts and avoid our sensors. The situation got worse. More animals escaped their habitats. Food and supplies went missing regularly. Equipment was found damaged. Then came the jaguar incident. Security officers cornered 2 humans in the South American habitat section. They thought they had finally caught them when suddenly 6 jaguars rushed from different directions, creating chaos. By the time the officers regained control, the humans were gone. This is unacceptable. Director Munn shouted at the emergency meeting the next day. How did they control the jaguars? Researcher Du had been studying everything they knew about humans. Sir, I believe we've made a serious error. These humans aren't just another animal species. On Earth, they're actually the dominant life form. That's impossible, argued senior researcher Yu. They have no claws, no fangs, weak muscles, no special senses. How could they dominate a planet with creatures like tigers and bears? Intelligence, Du explained. Look at this. He showed security footage they had gathered of the humans. In one clip, a female human constructed a simple tool from a branch. In another, 2 humans used hand signals to communicate across a distance. A third clip showed a human treating an injury on another with plants from the habitat. They problem solve, communicate with complex language, use medicine, and make tools, Du continued. And most importantly, they understand other species. The most convincing evidence came next. Du played a video showing a human female, the one they now identified as Hannah, approaching a tiger that had escaped. Instead of being attacked, she made specific sounds and movements that kept the tiger calm. She then led it to another area where other humans waited. She's communicating with it, Director Munn said in amazement. Not controlling it with technology, but actually communicating. Yes, Du agreed. And that's why they're so dangerous. They understand all the other Earth species better than we do. They can predict how they'll behave and even influence them. Senior biologist Han, who had been quiet until now, finally spoke. We came to Earth looking for its apex predators. We took the tigers, wolves, and bears, thinking they were the most impressive hunters. He pointed to the image of Hannah frozen on the screen. But we were wrong. These humans, with no fangs or claws, they conquered their entire planet. They tamed some predators as companions. They hunted others to near extinction. They changed whole landscapes to suit their needs. The room fell silent as everyone considered this. We've been studying the wrong species all along, Han concluded. Humans are Earth's true apex predator. And now we have 5 of them loose in our facility, angry, and working together. Director Munn's scales paled. Find them. Not as escaped specimens, but as dangerous intelligent beings. We need to talk to them. As if to emphasize his point, the lights in the room flickered and went out. In the tense laboratory section 7, Hannah stood face to face with Director Munn, a transparent barrier between them. Her demand was clear and direct: we want to go home. Return us and all the animals you've taken. Director Munn's response was immediate and cold. Impossible, he said, citing scientific value as his reason. But Hannah was quick to counter, pointing out that their continued presence compromised any potential research. Suddenly, an alarm broke the standoff. Researcher Du burst into the room, looking panicked and breathless. His news was shocking. Military Commander Jean had taken over the Predator section with plans to weaponize Earth's animal species against their rivals. This unexpected turn of events forced an unlikely alliance. The humans and the scientific Durans realized they now shared a common goal: stopping Commander Jin's dangerous plan. Hannah began sharing her deep knowledge of Earth's predators, while Munn provided critical access to the facility's complex systems. Wolves follow pack hierarchy, Hannah explained carefully. Big cats can be guided but never truly controlled. Bears are the most dangerous. Stay away unless I give a specific signal. Munn was fascinated. How could humans understand so many different predatory species? Hannah's grim smile told a story of survival and adaptation. Her people had learned from every encounter, becoming something more than just observers. They had become the ultimate predators themselves. The unlikely team started planning their counterattack. Each brought unique skills to the table. Hannah's understanding of animal behavior combined with Munn's technological expertise created a powerful strategy. They weren't just trying to escape anymore. They were working to prevent a potentially devastating military operation. Their plan was complex but precise. They would use the predator's natural instincts and behaviors against the military forces. Wolves would be organized through careful signal manipulation, big cats would be strategically positioned, and bears would serve as a final, unpredictable defense line. As they worked, a strange respect began to grow between Hannah and Munn. They recognized in each other a similar drive, a commitment to protecting their respective worlds from unnecessary conflict. The scientific curiosity of the Durans met the survival instincts of the humans in a moment of unexpected collaboration. The facility hummed with tension. Alarms continued to pulse, marking the urgency of their mission. Every movement was calculated, every decision weighed carefully. The stakes were impossibly high, not just their own survival, but potentially the fate of multiple species and civilizations. Hannah's knowledge proved invaluable. She understood these animals weren't just specimens or weapons, but living beings with complex social structures and survival mechanisms. This deep respect for the predators would be their greatest advantage against Commander Jin's ruthless military strategy. As they prepared, the line between captor and captive blurred. Munn no longer saw Hannah as a research subject, but as a critical ally. The humans were no longer prisoners, but strategic partners in a fight that extended far beyond their immediate circumstances. The predator section waited, filled with potential energy. Wolves, big cats, and bears, each species a potential weapon, each with its own unique capabilities. In the hands of the wrong commander, they could become instruments of destruction. In Hannah and Mun's careful plan, they might just become saviors. Their alliance was fragile but powerful. Born of necessity, forged in the heat of a potential global conflict, it represented something more than a simple escape plan. It was a testament to the power of understanding, of seeing beyond immediate differences to recognize a shared goal. The countdown to their counterattack had begun. Every second counted. Every predator was a potential ally. And at the center of it all, Hannah stood, a bridge between human survival and alien scientific ambition, ready to unleash a strategy that would change everything. Researcher Du was puzzled by strange events happening in the Earth animal habitats. Animals were moving to places they shouldn't be, and something unusual was happening in the research station. He called Director Mun to look at the strange data. They watched videos showing wolves using rocks to break open containers and tigers acting differently from their normal behavior. Something was changing how these animals acted. Then they spotted a human figure moving between trees in a video. The humans weren't supposed to be there. They had accidentally been collected with the other animals from Earth. Director Mun sent security teams to find the humans. But catching them was much harder than anyone expected. The humans were smart and knew how to hide. They moved between different areas of the station and avoided detection. Things got even more complicated when the humans started working with the animals. During one capture attempt, jaguars suddenly appeared and created confusion, allowing the humans to escape. Researcher Du started studying the humans carefully. He discovered something important: these weren't just ordinary animals. They were incredibly intelligent beings who could communicate, make tools, and understand other species in ways the aliens had never seen before. One video showed a human woman named Hannah approaching a tiger. Instead of being attacked, she made special sounds and movements that kept the tiger calm. She could communicate with and guide the predators without using any technology. The alien researchers realized they had made a big mistake. They came looking for Earth's most dangerous predators like tigers and wolves. But the real masters of the planet were these small, seemingly weak humans who had learned to survive and control their environment. Humans are Earth's true top predators, the senior biologist explained. They have no claws or special abilities, but they understand how to work together and control their world. Now 5 humans were loose in the research station. They were angry, intelligent, and working together to find a way home. The aliens who thought they were just collecting specimens suddenly realized they might have captured something far more dangerous. As the lights in the research room flickered, Director Mun understood they needed to talk to these humans. Not as specimens, but as intelligent beings who could be very dangerous if they felt threatened.